It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Rescue Towing, Command Family Medicine, and John's Heating and Air. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Wednesday. It is a frigid start out there with temperatures well below the freezing point. Yeah, the freeze warning and the frost advisory were sure valid, weren't they? Those are in place until 8 a.m. this morning. And we are dealing with some widespread frost this morning as temperatures are down either side of 30 degrees. It's cold out there to start, but the frost will give way to sunshine as we head through the rest of the day. I am expecting for things to warm up, and it should be pretty pleasant by this afternoon. But definitely, as you're sending the kids out the door today, especially if they're going to be spending any time outside, it's a day where you got to consider adding some layers. The hats, the mittens would be appropriate with the jackets today. Cold enough to really get a chill if you're going to be outside for any sort of extended period of time, thinking like the bus stop or outdoor play, something like that. Bundle up this morning. That's my message to everyone. It's certainly a sign that fall is well underway now in the Ozarks. Didn't really feel like it for the last couple of weeks with above temperatures and near record highs. Now we are starting to see the more fall-like weather. High pressure still in control for us, and that means that we will continue to see the sunshine. We'll see a clear sky tonight, which means more freezing temperatures are going to be on the way tonight. So if today's frost didn't get the plants that you left out, well, tonight could do it. So protect and cover up the sensitive vegetation again overnight tonight. And then I think temperatures come back up a little bit as we head closer to the end of the work week and get into the weekend. Frost turns to sunshine today. It'll end up being a pretty nice afternoon. We'll see high temperatures in the low 60s, cooler than average. You might want the long sleeve shirt, the light jacket all day with a high temperature of 61 degrees this afternoon. Tonight will fall right back near the freezing point, right about 32 degrees. We'll have frost again and then more sunshine on Thursday. By Thursday, we start to see those temperatures warm back up into the upper 60s, and then I think the 70s are back in our forecast on Friday. Places that aren't as cold this morning, down in the far southeastern counties, you folks may see temperatures dip again tonight. So if you took all the frost precautions this morning, do it again tonight just to be safe. I am expecting that conditions warm up for the weekend, but unfortunately, we're still going to see this very dry pattern stick around. We could use some moisture for sure, but it's just not in the cards for us. We are going to stay dry through the end of the work week and through the weekend once again. I am expecting temperatures to stay in the 70s for highs this weekend. And then after tonight's chance for frost, we are going to stay frost free for at least the next 5 nights. So you can put the mums back on the porch tomorrow and then not have to worry about it. Here's a look at the drought monitor. I wanted to give you a bit of an update here because we are now seeing extreme drought conditions just west of the Springfield area. Springfield now dealing with severe drought. That's going to be the case for most of Greene County. And then we've also got abnormally dry conditions, moderate drought conditions covering up most of the viewing area, perhaps about along Highway 65 and areas back to the west. So not great in terms of the dry ground, and this forecast is not going to help us out very much with continued dry weather in the forecast. What's making headlines around the country? Well, it's this cold morning start for much of the country. We're dealing with some of the first freeze warnings, the first frost advisories of the season. So an end to the growing season for much of the country. We are also talking about elevated fire weather conditions for the southern plains. And then I have rain and snow back in the forecast for portions of the upper Midwest and the Northeast as we head into the later parts of the forecast. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. And the question that I left you with yesterday, it has to do with space. What was the first food eaten in space by an American? And the options that I gave you were A, applesauce, B, cornflakes, C, pizza, or D, freeze-dried yogurt. You may have guessed freeze-dried yogurt, but that is not the correct answer. The correct answer is A, applesauce. That is the first food eaten by an American in space. Yes, 1962. 2 servings of applesauce were the first foods consumed by an American? This is a bit of a trick question because the Soviet Union had an astronaut in space, and the first thing that was eaten in 1961 by him was beef and liver paste squeezed from an aluminum tube. But for us Americans, it was applesauce. That was the first food eaten by an American by John Glenn from a toothpaste like tube. So, A, applesauce. Congrats if that was your guess. The question that I will leave you with for tomorrow: what is the most frequently ordered item of food in the United States? Do you think it is A, grilled cheese, B, fried chicken, C, pizza, or D, a cheeseburger? All of those pretty common. All right, I'll have the answer to that for you early tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for listening to Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather today. Bundle up if you're heading out the door. Thanks to our sponsors, also Rescue Towing, Command Family Medicine, and John's Heating and Air.